Have you ever looked around and wondered, why does everyone seem like they're just going through the motions? Same routines, same opinions, same complaints. Wake, work, sleep, repeat. No questions, no rebellion, no meaning. They aren't really thinking. They're just playing a role. Most people aren't living. They're simply fulfilling scripts written by someone else. And you know what's worse? They don't even know they're doing it. Psychology has a term for this. Carl Jung called it the archetype, a universal pattern that lives within you, but also controls you. And if you're not conscious of it, you're not a person. You're just an NPC. Let's get real. We live in a world that mass produces identities. The student, the employee, the hustler, the spiritual one, the rebel. But most of these aren't authentic. They're just costumes handed out by society. Archetypes we're forced to wear because we're too afraid to be something else. You think you chose your personality? You didn't. It was assigned. The greatest trick society ever pulled was convincing you that conformity is individuality. And Jung warned us about this. He said, if you don't become conscious of your archetype, it will rule your life, and you'll call it fate, destiny, God's plan. No, bro. It's the system's plan. And most people don't question it because NPCs don't know they're in a game. They just follow the rules, the scripts, the social code. NPCs are programmed with fear of standing out. They fear rejection more than insignificance. So they become obedient, invisible, replaceable. And the more replaceable you are, the more the system rewards you with likes, paychecks, praise, and fake stability. But here's the most terrifying part. Jung said we all start as NPCs. It's natural. We're born into the roles our family, culture, and society expect. But the hero's journey begins when you start questioning the script. When you ask, whose life am I really living? The path to awakening begins with rebellion against your assigned role. And if you never ask that, you're just background noise in someone else's story. So, if you're not living consciously, if you're just reacting to expectations, fears, and trends, you're not a character. You're a function, a placeholder, an NPC with good fashion sense. And Jung knew why. Every time you smile when you want to scream, every time you nod when you want to rebel, you're wearing the persona, the mask. It's the you that you think the world wants to see. Jung said the persona is a necessary illusion. We wear it to survive, to be accepted, to function in society. But here's the catch. If you wear the mask too long, you forget there's a face underneath. Most people never take it off. They become the role, the good employee, the obedient student, the friendly guy, the humble girl, so well trained that even their rebellion is predictable. You think your opinions are yours? They're not. They're curated by culture, by media, by marketing teams who know you better than you know yourself. But underneath that persona is the part of you that you're ashamed of. The shadow, the rage, the lust, the envy, the chaos. All the stuff you've been told to suppress. Why? Because the system can't control people who embrace their full self. NPCs don't have shadows. Only real people do. And confronting your shadow is terrifying because it's messy. It threatens your clean little image. But Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The deeper you dig into yourself, the more human you become. And the more human you become, the harder it is for the system to use you. Every time you scroll mindlessly, every time you say what's safe instead of what's true, every time you follow a trend instead of your intuition, you're choosing to remain unconscious. You're choosing the persona. You're choosing to be an NPC. There are only two types of people: those who are playing out a program and those who are rewriting it. And the only difference? Awareness. The moment you become aware of your programming is the moment you become dangerous. Because the system isn't afraid of rebels, it's afraid of thinkers. It's afraid of people who've integrated their shadow, who've broken the script, who've said, I am not who you told me to be. What if I told you that most of your desires aren't even yours? You think you want a new phone, a nice car, a better body, but these aren't desires. They're downloads. pre-programmed by a culture that profits from your unconsciousness. From the moment you're born, you are conditioned to obey. School doesn't teach you to think. It teaches you to comply, to sit down, memorize, regurgitate, pass, repeat. You're not taught philosophy. You're not taught introspection. You're not taught how to confront the shadow. Why? Because a thinking mind is a threat to the machine. A society of conscious individuals is harder to govern, harder to sell to, harder to manipulate. So the system replaces your need for meaning with endless distraction. Entertainment, porn influencers, TikToks, 24/7 stimulation that keeps you from going inward. Because if you stop for even a second and ask, who am I really? The whole simulation begins to break. Over time, you forget you're playing a role. You become it, the job title, the political side, the aesthetic, the bio on your social profile. But these are just filters, layers between you and your essence. You are not the mask. You are the one beneath it, screaming to be remembered. But here's the genius of the system. It rewards the persona. Play the part, you get likes. Follow the trend, you get followers. Stay within the script, you get safety. Step outside it, you get mocked, canceled, labeled as weird or dangerous. It starts when you ask, why do I believe what I believe? Who benefits from me staying this way? Am I living or performing? That discomfort, that cognitive dissonance, that's the sound of the persona cracking. The real self whispers through your dissatisfaction. Every time you feel out of place in the world, that's not failure, that's awakening. Jung didn't say you have to destroy your persona. You integrate it. You learn how to use it without being used by it. It's the process he called individuation. It's the journey of becoming whole, not perfect, whole. Integrating your light and shadow, your desires and fears, your roles and your rawness. It's the path few walk. But those who do are no longer NPCs. They become players in the truest sense. So, what happens when you stop following the script? When you refuse to be the obedient child, the loyal employee, the silent consumer? You activate the most terrifying and powerful force within Jungian psychology, the shadow. The shadow is everything you've repressed, the rage, the envy, the ambition you were told was too much. It's the version of you that's been exiled because it didn't fit the mold. But here's what they don't tell you. The shadow isn't evil, it's potential, misunderstood. The system needs you to fear your own power, because if you don't fear it, you might learn to use it. And once you integrate the shadow, you're no longer predictable, you're no longer manipulatable, you become dangerous. Jung believed we all carry universal roles, the archetypes. They aren't just myth or metaphor, they're blueprints buried deep in your psyche. The hero fights for something beyond himself. The outlaw breaks the system to expose the truth. The sage seeks meaning beyond the material. You've felt them all. Every time you resisted a fake smile, questioned the rules, or stayed up at night wondering why this world feels off. You are not empty. You are asleep. When you stop playing the NPC, the world turns on you. Friends say you've changed. Family questions your choices. Society punishes your defiance because your clarity threatens their illusion. They'll call you crazy, radical, antisocial, just to keep you small. But here's the paradox. The more real you become, the more unreal the world feels. And that's not a glitch. That's the beginning of liberation. The rebel isn't chaotic for fun. He breaks the code because the code is corrupted. In a society full of masked actors, he dares to take his off and faces the consequences. You're not here to follow. You're here to remember. The rebel, the hero, the sage, they're all you, buried under years of social programming, waiting for you to wake up and reclaim your role. So, how do you stop being an NPC? You don't need to move to a forest, shave your head, or meditate 12 hours a day. But you do need to disrupt the script, and that starts with awareness. Look at your daily choices. Do you scroll aimlessly or read intentionally? Do you speak your truth or repeat what's popular? Do you chase likes or pursue meaning? Every unconscious habit is a leash. The modern man is not free, he is domesticated. Break the routine, break the role. Most people are just nice masks over suppressed rage, guilt, and desire. You can't become whole without facing what you've buried. Ask yourself, what do I envy? What do I fear others knowing about me? What truths have I avoided at all costs? Journal it, scream it, paint it, own it, because the parts of you that were rejected are the very parts that make you real. You're not here to survive. You're here to embody a role worth remembering. Pick your path: hero, rebel, sage, creator, healer, explorer, and act like it, not when it's convenient, but every single day. Carl Jung saw the danger we now live in, a society that rewards conformity, punishes introspection, and replaces meaning with distraction. He warned, the greatest danger is not the bomb, it's the crowd that cheers when it drops. If you don't become conscious, you'll serve the unconscious agendas of others. NPCs wait for permission, you don't. You're not here to fit in, you're here to wake up. This isn't just philosophy, it's survival. Because in a world that runs on illusion, the only revolution left is inner. If this woke something up inside you, you're not alone. Join the rebellion of thought. Subscribe to the Ethereal Thinker, where we don't just think, we remember. Turn on notifications and don't miss the next mind-bending episode.